The Access and Accommodation Resource Center put on a panel for students to discuss the topic Disability at Work for National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
And first-generation college student scholarships are now available.
A gloomy day here in Valparaiso. The rain chances in the forecast when will they come? Find out next.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for joining us on 15 News at 5. I'm Blake Harms.
And I'm Heather Bricka.
Well, October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. To bring attention to this, the Access and Accommodation Resource Center put on a panel for students to discuss the topic Disability at Work. The panelists came from a variety of backgrounds, but all were committed to disability advocacy and helping those with disabilities to find employment and internships. Some of the topics discussed were how to navigate the employment process with a disability, when to disclose that you have a disability, how to self-advocate for yourself, and how to design a universal workspace for everyone at work. The panelists also discussed the lack of knowledge that employers and the general public have about disabilities and the social barriers and misconceptions that it can cause. They also talked about the advancement that has been made to help those with disabilities.
And applications are now being accepted for the Dr. Bill Marion First Generation Scholarship. You need to be a full-time student, 12 plus credits, and neither of your parents have a bachelor's degree or higher degree. You need to have a cumulative GPA of 2.5 or higher. The deadline to apply is Friday, November 5th at 5 p.m. To apply, go to www.valpo.edu/multicultural.
Well, what are you passionate about? The Social Action Leadership Team is hosting their Passions Expo on November 12th. You can stop by Chapel View Lounge in the Hawaii Union from 5 to 7 p.m. to learn more about the issues of affordable housing, immigration and refugees, food insecurity, and the environment.
And do you want to win Valpo gear? The Hawaii Union is hosting an ongoing social media challenge. A winner is picked at the end of the week and will come up with free Valpo gear. To compete in the challenge, follow @Hawaii Union on Instagram or Twitter, then post on your feed using any of the following topics: you and your friends, your favorite spot on campus, a campus event you went to, or showing off your school spirit. You also will need to tag @Hawaii Union in the post to make it public so everyone can see it.
Well, this week's poll is out. What are you going to be doing for Halloween? Will you be trick-or-treating, going to a haunted house, watching a scary movie, or handing out candy? Head on over to our Twitter page after the broadcast to cast your vote. Meanwhile, we have 15 at 5 weather folk, Nick Rakowski in the studio today to tell us about our weather on this fine autumn day. The gloomy days got me in a wax, so Nick, how long will this gloomy conditions last?
Well, gloomy days are going to last for a little while. As we look right now, it is, as Blake said, gloomy out there, but it wasn't actually too bad of a day. It was kind of pleasant out there with highs reaching around the 60-degree mark. So to take a look at our regional temperatures right now, here in Valpo, we are at 50, with the colder temperatures starting to move into the area, in Fort Wayne at 63, but those cold temperatures are out west. As with out west, we have chances in Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas moving into our region, but the snow chances should stay out, coming up more in the 7-day forecast. But for tonight, low of 43 with rain showers moving into the area. And then
Yeah. Well, I'm not the only one having some issues.
All right, well, thanks, Nick. Thousands are being evacuated in California as wildfires are devouring everything in their paths.
And medical students in Detroit are working to bridge the gap in healthcare for the city's homeless population. Stick with us.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
More than 50,000 Californians are under evacuation orders. Wildfires burning in Sonoma County, California have charred thousands of acres and prompting the state's largest utility to cut off power nearly to 1 million customers. Melissa Rainey has more.
Homes and lives threatened by the Kincaid fire, burning dangerously close to populated areas in Northern California.
We are announcing an evacuation of approximately 50,000 people. We are evacuating because this fire is very dangerous.
Strong winds have fanned the inferno for days and aren't expected to let up. Pacific Gas and Electric plans to shut off power to certain areas. It's a move to prevent sparking more wildfires, but it's leaving residents and authorities in the dark and possibly out of touch.
When that power is lost, we could lose cell towers, we could lose other forms of communication.
Officials urged residents to pack up and leave as quickly as possible. Conditions are expected to deteriorate Saturday night.
We'd like to get you out before it gets dark, and we'd like to get you out before the pending PG&E public safety power shutdown.
Communities not evacuating from wildfires are still facing power shutoffs. Emergency crews are on standby in San Jose as the area rolls into blackout Saturday night.
I do have a lot of confidence in our power vulnerability plan. We've been planning for months for this type of scenario.
PG&E shut off power to prevent wildfires before, but officials say planned blackouts shouldn't be a new normal.
What we need from utility companies is a more resilient infrastructure so that it's not prone to this type of scenario.
I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Prescription refills, yearly checkups, or even access to basic medications. They're all healthcare necessities a lot of us take for granted. But in Detroit, a group of medical students is working to bridge the healthcare gap for some of the city's most vulnerable. Jen Shaz tagged along with the group whose goal is to meet patients where they are.
They hit the pavement every week, come rain, snow, or shine. They're medical students with Detroit Street Care, a mobile clinic providing healthcare access to some of the city's most vulnerable, people living on the streets.
Sometimes we spend our evenings passing out blankets or socks on the street. Sometimes we end up dropping our patients off at the emergency room because it's out of our hands.
It's an all-volunteer program run by students like Ellie Small.
My name's Ellie. We're all medical students and we're with the street medicine team.
Oftentimes the students are seeing the same patients who don't always have dire medical emergencies, but rather are missing basic necessities for healthy living.
We can clean it up for you. Someone's not going to be worried about taking their hypertension medication every day if they don't know where they're getting their next meal.
It starts with something simple, how they approach their patients.
You're meeting your patients in their home, whatever their home might look like.
This man needed his feet wrapped, but in the past, the groups had to triage emergency situations, like a car crash they witnessed on a recent ride.
At that moment, we were like, oh, geez, we're the first responders. We're the first ones on the scene.
The weekly rides start at a neighborhood shelter and go all around the city.
Do you go inside anywhere at night?
Follow-ups are crucial.
We know where they're going to stay. We will always ask them, will you be here?
Who prescribes you the insulin?
Many of their patients have insurance, but are either underinsured or don't have the resources to get what they need.
I'm going to text Dr. Bryce right now and let him know we saw you. You might not be able to change the whole system in a night going out on the streets and passing out meds and blankets, but you can change that one person's day or week or year or maybe their life. And if you can impact one person, that's huge.
Detroit Street Care has been operating for about 5 years. They're always looking for donations, including medical supplies.
A museum in Minnesota held a creepy doll competition ahead of Halloween, and boy, did it deliver. It showcased parts of their collection that don't normally get attention. Many of the dolls are more than 100 years old, with time taking its toll. They weren't originally meant to be creepy, but now some of them look like they're watching you or plotting something sinister. The History Center of Olmsted County in Rochester, Minnesota ran the competition from October 16th until Thursday the 24th. Each day, a photo of a new creepy doll or figurine was posted on the museum's Facebook page, and participants voted for the ones they found the creepiest. The top 3 winners will be announced Monday and put on display.
No, thank you. Well, on an uplifting note, 2 therapy golden retrievers in Texas tied the knot Friday, and it was adorable. Peaches and Duke work together at Methodist Mansfield's physical medicine department. They are therapy dogs and reportedly like to snuggle and sneak kisses here and there. One of the hospital's pastors performed the ceremony. There was even cake and a reception. The dogs help patients focus on their rehabilitation. The simple act of petting them can improve patients' strength and range of motion.
That's a lot cuter than the dolls previously. And Snickers has given away 1 million candy bars ahead of Halloween. A candy giveaway was initially tied to an online petition to get Halloween moved from October 31st to the last Saturday of October. Snickers said if the federal government changed the date of Halloween, it would give away 1 million free Snickers bars. The petition got more than 150,000 signatures, but the date of Halloween hasn't changed. Snickers gave away candy anyway. The people just had to go to www.1million and enter their cell phone number. And that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's interesting, the prospect of moving it to the last Saturday in October makes more sense logistically.
It does.
Yeah.
All right, well, coming up after the break, Nick Rukowski will have your full forecast.
And we'll take a look at this past week's Crusader sports. Stick with us.
Spark a new idea. Spark a desire to learn. Spark a passion for exploring the field of STEM as we go beyond the final frontier and explore the latest in virtual reality and artificial intelligence. We will play with robots and maybe make a mess or two. For the show keeping you up to date on everything in the world of science, technology, and innovation, join us Friday evenings at 7 p.m. on VUTV Channel 15 or online at valpovutv.org/sparked.
So as we take a look at our weather headlines this week, rain chances midweek, followed by a rainy Halloween. Followed by that, we're going to have a cold weekend ahead. So as we take a back at a live look right now here in Valpo, the gloomy skies continue, but that will be followed by a chance of rain showers overnight. And then we take a look at our current temperatures around the region. Here in Valpo, we're at 50, Knox 52, Michigan City at 46. The cold temperatures are out to our west, moving into our region, but as you take a look out to the east, you have temperatures in the 60s, but all those temperatures will be changing as we move into the overnight hours. And as you can see, there's that cold front in western Illinois moving its way through Michigan, bringing all those cold temperatures like Minneapolis, that'll move right our way. And as we take a look where that cold sees snow in Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, and along with Minnesota right there, most of the snow should miss us off to the west, mainly the western metro Chicago area and western Illinois. We should mainly stay in the rain portion of that. And we go around to our area right now. As you see, clear skies, not a single drop of rain in our radar right now. But as we take a look at the future radar, showers should linger throughout the region, but mainly into the early mornings of Tuesday, and those will start to push out of the region, giving us a clear Tuesday for the rest of the day, followed just by some scattered clouds. And as we move from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, those rain chances do come back, and we have a really soggy Wednesday ahead of us, followed into Thursday. Along with those rain showers moving into the region, we take a look at our temperatures throughout the rest of the night. Temperatures stay around the 50-degree region, moving down into the low 40s tomorrow throughout the afternoon hours. And those temperatures will continue to stay in the 40s and 30s as we move into Wednesday and eventually into the Thursday day hours. So as we take a look at our Halloween forecast, 8 a.m., 43, 12, 43. We stay in the mid to low 40s throughout most of the day. Rain chances, I would say, still linger around 4 o'clock. But as we move to the trick-or-treat hours of 8 o'clock, the rain chances and wind will start to increase. So make sure you have your hand warmers, gloves, warm costumes. I recommend those, not some costumes. So as we move to the 7-day forecast, as you can see, rain on Wednesday and Thursday with Sun coming back on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but those cool temperatures will start to come back on Saturday, making it seem like winter is right around the corner, and I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah, sounds like you're gonna have to bundle up under that banana costume on Thursday.
I still need to buy that banana costume. I have not bought my costume for Halloween yet, so.
I don't think that's waterproof even if it doesn't snow.
Yeah, it's not waterproof. I've had one before, and it's rained, and I had a not so pleasant time.
These past few Halloweens have been nasty in the Midwest.
Yeah, they really have. But, I mean, we're in the Midwest.
That's
Late
true.
October, what do you
Lucky
expect?
we're not getting snow.
It is to be expected.
I'd rather have snow than 40-degree rain.
That's true.
All right, thanks, Nick. After the break, we'll have a recap of this past week's Crusader sports.
In a world where entertainment is at risk, one man is given a mission, but he is about to face his biggest challenge yet. He will race against the clock and open doors to new possibilities that will save weekends as we know it.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for free movies.
Oh, I'll help you with that.
Just go to movies.valpo.edu. They have all the best movies, including The Hobbit and 22 Jump Street.
Whoa, it's that easy?
It's that easy.
Grab some popcorn, grab some buddies, and watch movies.valpo.edu's great selection.
This week in Valpo Sports, we start with the women's golf team as they were in the final event of the fall season at the Braun Intercollegiate in the competition. Tiffany Curtis and Peyton Hodson would both finish in the top 10 of the tournament to finish up the fall season on a strong note. In men's soccer, Valpo was in action at Drake this week. Valpo was down 1-0 early, but scores in the 36th, 44th, and 61st minutes would be the 3 goals that Valpo would score. Led by the 3 assists of Adam Garcia, Valpo went on to hold the lead and win 3-1, moving Valpo's record 3-9-1. Women's soccer was in action as well at Drake on Saturday afternoon. However, the Crusaders fell to Drake 3-0. Volleyball was in action Friday. Here in Valpo against Loyola, the Crusaders kept it close every game but would lose the match 3-0. Valpo Swim hosted the first home meet of the year against Evansville. Senior Paige Wright and freshman Michaela DePover led Valpo as they both won their individual events. However, the women's and men's teams both fell to Evansville and will be back in this weekend against Youngstown State. On a very rainy and windy Saturday, the football team was at home against Stetson, led by a great defensive effort by the Crusaders. Valpo scored 16 unanswered points to go on and win their first game of the season by a score of 19-10. This week in the National Football League, the Bears were down 1 point with 4 seconds left against the LA Chargers at Soldier Field. Kicker Eddie Pinheiro pushes a 41-yard field goal as sailed left as time expires. The Indianapolis Colts found themselves in a similar situation at home against the Denver Broncos. Led by quarterback Jacoby Brissett, the Colts marched down the field from their own 11-yard line, leading to Adam Vinatieri's 51-yard game winner with just 22 seconds remaining. And coming up in this week's Crusader Sports, we have a volleyball game against Indiana State on Friday at 6 p.m. in the Arc, and we also have a Saturday volleyball game against Evansville and the Arc at 5 p.m.
Lots of action coming up.
Yep.
Nice to see Valpo finally win their first football game of the season.
Yes.
Yes, and it's nice to see that. And on the flip side, the Chicago Bears ending that game in very Chicago Bears fashion.
Yes.
Lots of action this weekend.
Yes.
Thanks, Laura.
You're welcome.
After the break, Nick will have a final look at your weather.
What is passion? At Valpo, it's something that pours out of us uncontrollably. It's a late night shot of caffeine, cramming for finals, a jam session with friends. It sees deep into space, turns big stuff into small potatoes, floats boats and floods the senses. Passion is alive, it has a heartbeat, and it lives in you. How do we know? Because at Valpo, passion is who we are.
Well, I think that's all we need. Thank you so much for coming in. We'll be in touch.
Okay, this is it. Just shake his hand and walk out with your head held high. Don't mess this up. Thank you. Nailed it. Don't let a bad handshake get in the way of getting the job you want. Find out more at the Career Center.
So as we take one last look at our 7-day forecast, as you can see, rain the next 3 days pretty much, with Wednesday and Thursday being your best chance, and Halloween being a very not so pleasant day for trick-or-treaters, but sunny skies for the rest of the week after that, but colder temperatures ahead.
That's not fun still for Halloween.
It's a mixed bag, just like Halloween. You get some candy you like, some you don't.
Mostly candy you don't like.
Yeah,
Very true.
That's
very
fair.
true. All right, Nick, I have a question for you. This one's from Yahoo Answers. Anonymous asks, John Lennon or Freddie Mercury? Who was the best and why?
I'm gonna have to go with Freddie Mercury because I don't know if you guys saw the movie with Freddie Mercury when they recreated it, but he pretty much came out of nothing and made himself one of the top names in music, and he's still legendary to this day. And John Lennon, I mean, he was with the Beatles. Beatles were legendary as well, but there's also 3 other of them. So Freddie Mercury was kind of by himself. John Lennon was with all the rest of the Beatles. Needless to say, they're both legendary, but I would just say Freddie Mercury is much better.
Heather?
I kind of disagree with you. I really like John Lennon. I think he's significantly better than Freddie Mercury, but I'm more of a Beatles fan than a Queen fan, and I think that's what it kind of boils down to.
Yeah, I'd say I have to go with Nick. I'm a bigger fan of Queen myself.
I'm not really a big fan of either band, to tell you the truth. So,
I knew that was coming.
So Blake has no idea.
He's like, country?
More of an instant
They're not
kind of
country.
guy, few decades on the road. Well, if you have a question for us, you can send it our way on Facebook or Twitter, and we just might answer it. You can send screenshots of forums, questions you've been asked, or questions that you have yourself. Meanwhile, from all of us at VUTV, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next Monday at 15 News at 5.